And so I had the distinct honor of introducing these two amazing queens, Opal Tometi and Zozi Tunzi. And we're going to sit and have a bit of a conversation about some of the things you're working on, and what really, in terms of your platform and how you're leveraging it for transformational, radical change that we need in this day and age. So Zozi, welcome. And I wanted you to just share a little bit about, introduce yourself just briefly as we get into this conversation. And what are you up to right now? What is top of mind for you?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I love that you said you're Black History Month every day. Somebody asked me if we have that back home in South Africa, and I said, we have that every day back home. But I am Zozi Tunzi. That is my full name, but everybody knows me as Zozi, affectionately so. I am the current Miss Universe. Crowned in December 2019, should have crowned a new Miss Universe, but because of current situations with COVID, that hasn't been able to happen. So I'm here for longer. I am from South Africa, born and bred in a village in South Africa, and I am the first Black Miss South Africa to do it with her natural hair and to win Miss Universe. And I am the first Black Miss Universe to do so in her natural hair. So that's one thing that really everyone knew me about at first. It is at the essence of who I am, but it's a part of who I am, not everything that I am. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. Currently Miss Universe, using my platform to, champion positive social change, because I think that is very much needed in the world today.
Yeah, just Miss Universe, just nothing much, just Miss Universe, just on a Tuesday, Miss Universe. What did that moment mean for you? You talked about, doing so as a woman from South Africa, as a woman with natural hair and a voice and an opinion on many things. I've seen you speak very boldly about issues that are happening within South Africa and in the world, and very astutely as well. So just wanted to get your sense, like, what did that moment mean for you?
Oh, it feels just like yesterday. It meant the world. I think not just to me, but to every woman in that moment who watched and felt validated. Black women aren't in the history books of beauty. Our beauty is not recorded. We were never the standard. And so when you see something like this happen, of like 4 Black women winning a beauty pageant, even though it was in 2019, you would think that is something that should have happened a long time ago. But because we're people who are kind of slow on progress, sometimes we find ourselves celebrating these moments in 2019. I mean, for me, when that moment happened, I was reminded of so many women, from where I come from. I was reminded of specifically as a woman called Sarah Baartman from South Africa, way back. When we were colonized in South Africa, by Europe. They came in, they found this South Africa, this beautiful South Africa with its people, with its natural beauty as well. And they took this woman back to Europe. And what they did was they displayed her on a freak show, because that is how they viewed, the African woman, the Black woman. That's what it's always been. That was back in the 19th century. Fast forward into the 20th century, into the 21st century. You switch on your television, you're flipping through your magazine, and it's still quite hard, to find that, Black woman who is celebrated as a beauty and not as the crazy Black woman. And so when that happened for me, I was like, yes, this is progress. Beauty is so many things. It cannot be defined, by just one Eurocentric look that is known to be beautiful. And so when that happened, I also felt like it's also removing a part of tokenism, because people have this whole thing, it just has to be one Black woman. We know this, you walk into a corporate space, there's only space for one Black woman. You walk into, an audition. There's only space for one Black woman. It's never, here's a space. Let it be filled with incredibly, beautiful, intelligent Black women. And so I think it tried to eliminate that in a sense of you don't have to have just one. You can have 2, 3. You can have 4. You can have a whole army of women. And quite frankly, I think if people made this realization ages ago, humanity would be so much more further if we really included women in this huge groundbreaking decision-making moment. And so that's what it felt for me. It was a victory not only for myself and my country, but for Black women all over the world. But not only for that as well, but for the underdog. I think the underdog felt celebrated in that moment, and knowing that they didn't think that something like this was possible, and the fire in them possibly was ignited in that night to be able to say, look, if something like this is possible, then surely, I could dream larger too. And so it meant everything. It meant everything.
I'm just so eager to kind of hear how you see this, and especially how you have come to kind of speak about the topic, and what impact you hope to have here.
Yeah. So I've had quite a journey with it. A lot of people will ask me, why did you get into pageantry? Like, why did you do Miss South Africa or Miss Universe? And I simply tell them, beauty is subjective. It can be anything and it can be anyone. But for me, the main reason why I did it was not only to celebrate beauty, a different kind of beauty, but it was for the platform. I'd seen in the previous years how every Miss Universe winner, every Miss South Africa winner, people want to be in a room with you. People want to hear what you have to say. And so for me, I was like, this is a leadership position of some sort, and I have a voice and I have so much to say. And so that's why I went that direction. And so how it really, really kicked off for me was during the Miss South Africa pageant. When you get to your top 5, they start asking you, those on-the-spot questions where you kind of have to give an answer in 30 seconds. So I remember walking up and this judge asked me, her question for me was, women go through so much, whether it's emotional, physical, and mental. They go through a lot. But, kind of like, I'm sure there's something that we have to smile about. What is it that women, still have to smile about? And I remember standing there in that moment thinking, this is a no-brainer for me. I have 2 ways to go about doing this. One could be highlighting the positives and what it is that we have to smile about. But who's that going to help? I knew that millions of South Africans were watching, they had their TV on and they're waiting to hear what I'm going to say. And I thought, what, I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to go a direction that nobody would expect to see at a beauty pageant. And I remember answering, I looked the judge straight in the eye and I said, women have absolutely nothing to smile about. And I remember in that moment, the whole arena went silent of, I think, shock, because they were shocked as to, where's this going? Where am I going with this answer? And I said, why we really have nothing to smile about, because women truly are dying, every day, being abused, and their lives really in vain, and nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's taking accountability, for this. Instead, we're asking women to protect themselves. We're asking women to learn how to, avoid these situations, and it's just victim blaming. And so that was basically my answer on the stage that ended up trending not only, I guess, in South Africa, but globally. And that was still the Miss South Africa pageant at the time. And so that's how it really started for me, using my platform. And I had been using it before to advocate for these things, just that I didn't have the numbers and the following, that I do have now. And so for me, it was very important, because I know people will ask me as well, have you ever been in a situation where, you were in an abusive relationship or you went through that? And I tell them that I don't, but the mere fact that I am a woman means that it could happen to me. It is reported that every 4 hours, a woman is murdered in South Africa. It could be me, it could be my aunt, it could be my mom, it could be my little sister. And it affects all of us. And it really speaks to the message of, just because something is not happening to you, doesn't mean it's not happening. Doesn't mean we should shut our eyes and pretend like we don't see. And so that's why that message is very important to me. And that's why I advocate for gender equality as well, because there's deeper roots to it. There's deeper roots to why women are being abused and where they are. It goes back to inequality. It goes back to how patriarchal this world is. The world is still very supportive of, the male, and women are just like down there at the bottom. And so for me, that's why I use my platform every day. Whenever I'm given a microphone, it's always going to be about something that I feel is of great impact. And I'm always feeling like somebody's listening. And hopefully, one day we will get to a point where we reach gender equality and where women are safe, because that's what we're asking for. Stop making women an endangered species. And whenever we speak about equality and women empowerment, people think we are asking to be better. And it's like, no, we're just asking for you to view us the same way. We're just asking for equality. That's all it is that we are asking for. And so I feel like I'm going to speak about it until the day that I die, if there's no change happening in the world.
Your advice or message to young women who may be wanting to change the world, literally.
Absolutely, I agree. I want to echo Opal's sentiments so much. I was shaking my head, aggressively when she was saying that, because truly, you truly can't pour from an empty cup. I think, the work needs to be internal first. You need to be strong, inside your heart and inside your mind first before you can go out and tackle anything else. But I think the most important thing that I want to say is, it can be so intimidating to try and go out there and make real great change. And so I want everyone to know that you don't have to be a Miss Universe on a stage where millions of people are watching you to make a difference and to make a change. It starts at home. It starts in your small circles. We know we all have problematic friends. We have problematic families who make, problematic statements here and there. Start there. There might be a homophobic slur, a racial slur happening where you are at a barbecue. How is your family acting? What is their language? How are they speaking of other cultures and other races? And so I think it's spaces like that you can try tackle first. Your friends say, this is not the right thing to say. This is not the right way to speak. Maybe you want to educate yourself here and there. And so I think that's the one message that I really want to pass on today, that it starts really small. It starts with your circle. And then from then on, you can take the bigger steps of going out there and using social media. My goodness, it's like the best thing we have right now to reach out to so many people. Find out who you share interests with. Follow the likes of Opal, follow the likes of Eniola. They are doing incredible work. Shadow those women, even if from afar, and see what you can, learn from them. And I know that there's always women in our community, amazing matriarchs who are always willing to take women, under their arm, because I think that's one thing we like to take for granted, that intergenerational conversation. Speak to your elders. They've been through it. They've done that. And they're also willing to hear what you have to offer as the youth as well. And so I think that intergenerational conversation as well is very important for, progress. And so I think, that's what I have to say today.
One question to Zozi from me, and I'll read it. I'll try to read it verbatim. Do you feel any pressure being essentially seen as the face of Africa? No pressure. Young Black woman and the universe.
Wow. I'm not going to lie. It is
a question there.
It is pressure. I'm going to be honest, because a year ago, 2 years ago, I was just, a woman working in advertising, and, what I said and what I did, a lot of people didn't really, watch and try to follow. But now all of a sudden you have your face and, all these young women, girls, and everyone really paying attention to your life and everything that you do. So yes, it does add a certain amount of pressure. But, one thing is, I like to act like myself and to be myself. I never want to have any form of perfection. That's what I always tell people. I never want any woman, young girl, to look at me and see a full, perfect human being, because the world is just so full of that already, so much pressure to be the best, to do the best. And so if our role models as well are those people who just seem so perfect, then what are we really doing? And so I think one thing that takes off the pressure from me is just being human as possibly as I can, make mistakes, and make sure that people see me make those mistakes so that they know that it's okay, for them to make mistakes too, that they too can be the face of Africa or a Miss Universe or somebody great in a great platform, and still make mistakes. And so because of that, I try not to feel too much pressured.
Great. No, this is great. I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to ask just. I know that we're fine. I want just one word that you think will typify your manifestation for this year. I know it's a toughie, but if you can think of just one word that you feel will manifest a manifestation for this year, and then we'll wrap that up, because hopefully it will empower others to think about what their one word would be. So, Zozi?
I want to say transformation. Transformation is my word. Should I explain?
We won't have time for the explanation, but someone will have to send you a DM. Send Zozi a DM or about it. Or maybe you can post on your Instagram or social as well. Why transformation? Opal?
Oh, that's a good one. Power.
Power and transformation. They go together very well. And yes. So thank you so much. I wish I could stay with you guys and hang out, and we could have tea and crumpets and all sorts of stuff and talk about this all day. But I want to really, really thank you both for the lessons that you've really shared, and parts of yourselves that you shared as well, and being so open to do so. So I know this is the wrap up to our leveraging your platform for social change. And I hope that those listening have taken something back, and please stick around for the next panel that will be coming up very, very shortly. Thank you, Zozi. Thank you, Opal. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.